Alrighty, the topic of today's video is something that I often get requested for and asked about, and it is, should I use leather conditioner on my leather cleats? So not just specifically Mizuno cleats like we have here, which I'm a big fan of, but just leather cleats in general. Will the leather conditioner help my cleats last longer? So people that wear Mizuno cleats will know that they used to, and apparently now don't, but they used to, so I've got a whole bunch of them sitting around. Come with these nifty little cleat care kits, which has some leather conditioner and a nice little buffing cloth in case I want to buff my cleats up and make them look really good. I don't really care about the cloth, but this is the important part, is this leather conditioner. So if I apply this to my cleats, are they going to last longer? Is it worth the effort or not? So historically, I have not put leather conditioner on my cleats. I just figured it's not going to make that much of a difference. And in the past, I would have had to buy some, which is a couple dollars. I mean, I only spend what, $300 on these and $300 on those. So $600 worth of cleats. Why would I spend $2 on some leather conditioner? But I've got about 10 of these things sitting around, so why not give it a shot? So these Morelia Neo III standard ones, not the betas. You can tell they're not the betas because they have a little flat back here. These are about a year and a half old, and for the past year and a half, I have put leather conditioner on this one about once a month, and I've used no leather conditioner on this one. And I'll note that I just played today, and I left them dirty because I think it's easier to see the defects and cracks in the leather with a lot of dirt on them. So let's take a quick look at the differences between these. So I want to look at the one I've been putting conditioner on here for the past year and a half, once a month, give or take. I might have missed a month here or there. So let's take a look at this. And you can see it's got a few little cracks here and there. But it's not too bad, and that's not any more than I would expect to see from a quality set of cleats after about a year and a half. Most of this, if you cleaned this cleat, it would come off. These aren't actually really cracks. It's more like little creases in the surface. So let's take a look at the other one. Now this one definitely has more wear on it, right? Showing a lot more wear on the surface. And there's actually some cracks in this one. So I would say, just on the surface, that the leather conditioner has made a pretty significant difference between these, right? Between that and that. Now, it's not just the top part I'm worried about, really. I mean, they're not really going to split here while I'm playing, so I don't really care how this looks as long as the cleat holds up until I'm ready to get another pair. But the important parts are along the edge of the sole. So this is where a set of leather cleats is going to start to crack. And on this, I'm not really seeing anything happening here. A little bit of wear, but it looks good all the way around there. Now, traditionally, Mizuno cleats are fine in this area. Where they really have a problem is this crease right here. So historically, this plastic will start to bend right at this flex point. See how that's flexing? And it'll develop a little sharp edge, and it'll start cutting into your cleats. Well, we can see that maybe it's starting a little bit, but it looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with this. You can see it's got just a tiny little cut there that's starting, but I'll get another 6 months out of this, no problem. Now, what about our one with no leather conditioner? So let's look at the flex point first. So we can see on this one, it's significantly worse than the other one. That is starting to cut right there and starting to tear. And I doubt I'll get more than a month out of this now. And what about the other side? Okay, I'd already be shocked about the other side, but this one here is where Mizuno cleats tend to be pretty solid. And you can see that this is starting to cut and tear all along that flex point. So that's pretty bad. I've actually never had a pair fail on the outside edge here, which is what these are getting ready to do, especially this one. I've had them fail right in here. So two things. It tells me that Mizuno has done a much better job. When we talked about the Neo 2s, which are those, and the Neo 3s, they made a little change in the design where this tucks in a little bit here. And my speculation was that that was to help try to eliminate the sharp edge that formed there. So they've done a pretty good job. These cleats have lasted as long in here as they have the outer edge. Like I said, I've never had a pair fail on this outer edge out of probably 10 pairs. Always in here. And then boom, it's time for a new set of cleats. So while I was doing this, this experiment, my old Neo 2s had to get called into service by my son, who is now basically the same foot size as me, unfortunately, and has gone from $20 cleat taste to wanting to have Mizuno's. So I gave him my old Neo 2s, which I replaced with the Neo 3s a year and a half ago. And these were in pretty good shape when I gave them to him. And he only wore them for about a month before we got him his own pair. And these have been sitting a while, so they have not had any leather conditioner ever put on them. And when I gave him these, they were starting to tear a little bit here. You can see it right there. And you can actually see this little edge is crinkling, and that starts to get sharp, and it will cut into the leather more there. If I look at the outside edge of these, and I haven't cleaned them since he used them, but looks good, nice and solid there. Now this one was what surprised me, is you can really see the problem here. So we only wore these for about a month after I let them sit around. And like I said, when I retired these, they were fine. But sitting around for a month, the leather has dried out, no flexing or anything. And he wore them only they weren't sitting around for a month. They were sitting around for a year and a half, but he only wore them for a month. And these things tore very quickly there. Now, again, if I look here, this outside edge is completely fine. So the failure point, typical of the older Mizuno Neo 2s, is right here. So what I'm wondering is, with some leather conditioner, how much longer could I have played these? We'll never know because they're garbage now. Can't be used. But I've still got to get some play out of these, because going to soccer.com and try and order these, and they're all on back order until like June or something, which is crazy. I could order them directly from Mizuno, but I had a nightmare ordering from them, and we'll never do that again. So moral of the story is, if you have some leather conditioner that you got from Mizuno, use it. If you don't, go get some for $2 or whatever it costs, and at least once a month put it on your leather area of your cleats, and at least at the places where they're going to fail, right? I would work a lot of leather conditioner, and I didn't really work it in on these too much in these areas here, but I can tell you now, from now on, I'll be working tons of leather conditioner in these areas, there and on the outside. Couple of bucks, $300, definitely worth it. So that's it. I've got another video I'm going to do shortly, and that has to do with anti-blister socks. So I wasn't able to get a pair of Neo 3 standard ones, but I was able to get a set of Neo 3 betas, which always give me bad blisters. But I've got a couple different sets of anti-blister socks, not the ones that are kind of like normal socks with that you would normally play in. These are really, really specifically used to prevent blisters, and they go inside your sock. So I've got two different kinds. One I've used for the past 3 or 4 years whenever I need them, and then a new pair that I just got, and we'll see how those work. So I'll compare those in a video probably later today or tomorrow. Thanks a lot. Mizuno.